Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge with LaWanna Bradford. I am LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group and principal of the Bradford Group Consulting. And I'm so excited to be here with you again with another special guest, Miss Mistie Layne. Mistie, how's it going?
Oh, it's going fabulous. Thank you so much for having me, LaWanna.
Thank you. Well, for those of you that may be joining us for the first time or tuning back in, Choose to Challenge is a platform designed to expand your thinking, challenge the norms, the mores that are out there in society, challenge systems and institutions, and help us to elevate to the highest version of ourselves by being unique to who we are. And today, Mistie and I are going to be talking about breaking free of physical and mental shackles. And we use those terms strategically, and you'll understand when she gets into the story. But I want to tell you a little bit about Mistie. Mistie is bivocational. She's full-time in nuclear medicine. She has a show called Dare to Share, where she's the host and producer of this amazing TV show that challenges individuals to take down the mask, remove the mask, be visible and transparent in telling their story. And she's also an inspirational speaker, an author, and an empowerment and resiliency expert. So let's I want to talk about this particular topic when we talk about physical and mental shackles. And some people look at it as metaphorically speaking, but we want to talk about your real life experience and how you were able to break free of these shackles. So you want to just dig in and tell as much of your story as you'd like?
Sure. And I was just thinking when you announced that at the very beginning, I just had like my whole brain just kind of went and lasered in, because I have a lot of adversity, and my whole thing is to tell people that we can all overcome our worst to live our best. And I've been through several things, from drug addiction, prison. I mean, I've kind of been around the block a few times. But when I think about what you said about breaking free from the physical and the mental shackles, it brings me right down to domestic abuse. Domestic violence, I've told people throughout all of my story, which we'll get into here in a bit, but throughout everything I've been through, it's been some of the hardest. Those mindsets are like branded, and they're deep rooted. That mental and verbal abuse is deep seated. Those physical scars heal. It's all that other stuff. And so I immediately went to domestic abuse and my journey with it, because it was hard enough to physically break the shackles and physically get free. But that wasn't enough, because he still had a hold on me mentally. And it was a journey, and it was a lot of work. I'm about to tear up now, because it's still, there's a mental shackle there as well, LaWanna. And so I want to bring light to that and shed light with people that, it's real. It's not about, oh, you're not strong enough, just leave. I'm one of the strongest people. I'm resilient. I always have been. Went from medical school to prison. I mean, I knew, I had my head on my shoulders straight. But these abusers, they're masters. They're master manipulators. They know exactly how to play on our insecurities. And it's such a slow progression that before you know it, you're bound. And it wasn't until I ended up in jail facing a 40-year prison sentence that I realized the hold he had on me. I no longer knew what kind of food I liked, what kind of clothes, what kind of music, because I had realized he had been dictating all those things for me, and he gradually had lost myself. So part of releasing that mental shackle was learning and rediscovering who Mistie is and what Mistie liked and what Mistie wanted. And that's hard. That's hard. If anyone out there is battling with it, don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. You're worth it.
Let's talk a little bit about that. As you said, you lost yourself in this abusive relationship to the point that you didn't even recognize what you liked anymore. So you went into this journey of rediscovery.
Yes.
How did you even begin to progress through that? Were you able to do it independently, or did you seek help, therapy to guide you through that journey?
Well, speaking, as inspirational to tell the audience, what I would suggest is finding what works for you. Seek therapy, counseling, writing, prayer, whatever works for you. The main part of that is just to seek some kind of help, not to sit on it. But for me, it wasn't just I woke up one day and said, oh, let me do some self-help. My circumstances were just a little bit different. I was in medical school, studying to be a surgeon. My life was on track when I found out my husband had gotten a woman pregnant. I had 2 small babies. My world was blown. It was devastated. And I internalized and blamed myself and thought, well, I must not have been good enough if he cheated. So I went on this journey to find validation from anything or anyone that would make me feel worthy. And that's when my life changed at 32 years old. I made that choice one day to try cocaine for the first time and didn't think that process all the way through, and ended up addicted, which turned into crack cocaine addiction, which lasted 10 years and did not end until I killed someone in a car accident and was put in prison facing 40 years. So for me, it was a wake up of either I'm going to die with the person I killed or I'm going to choose to live. Because I was dealing with a lot of survivor's guilt, knowing I was in the wrong. It was really hard. For me, LaWanna specifically, it was writing. Writing is what saved my life. I took the time and space, of course, I'm in a jail cell. There's nothing else to do, right? So I took the time and space and dedicated that to myself to go through that journey because it was life-saving for me. I knew I had to do it. So I started using writing. Through the writing, I was able to release a lot of the anger. I was able to work through some of the guilt, and I was able to discover that I had value, that even though I had thrown 10 years of my life away, even though I had made so many bad choices and mistakes and hurt so many of my family and loved ones along the way, that they could forgive me and that I could forgive myself. But I just had to do the work and get to the point in space and time where I could.
With your journaling and just the writing, and you mentioned that it helped you to release, in all that you do now, in helping men and women around the world, do you take them through that discovery journey? Do you give them tips and tools so that they know how to break through their own limitations?
Absolutely. So I have 2 different so first of all, here's a little shameless plug. Here's my book, What Goes Up, which is my life story. There's a chapter in here called COPE, C-O-P-E, COPE equals hope. And it's a 4-step method that can help catapult you into that forgiveness, to understand what you need, like catapult you through the work 1 step at a time. So that's the 1 tip. Second tip I would love to offer the audience, if you visit my website at stepupandspeakout.com, I have a free gift. And it's 5 ways to release toxicity and negative words. It's a workbook that you can download. And that is a very specific timed writing exercise designed to help you release negativity, and not just release it, but I teach you through this guide how to flip the negative into a positive and apply it in your life. And that's a very important first step when we want to start some kind of a journey of healing.
So that's the 5 ways to release
negative words and toxicity. It's a guidebook, and it's free if you just go to my website, stepupandspeakout.com, and just sign up, and it'll download straight to your email.
And then your book is What Goes Up on Amazon. You can get that on Amazon, right?
Amazon. You can also purchase a signed copy if you would like on my website, stepupandspeakout.com. All the bookstores, Walmart and Target even carry it. So it's pretty easy to find.
I love that you have, like you said, cope equals hope.
Mhm.
And sometimes when we're going through our issues, the ash and trash of life, we
Right.
bury it, right? We don't want to look at it. We have the ostrich syndrome and we think, well, if we don't look at it, we won't have to deal with it. But it ends up manifesting in other ways, right? It may be the lack of self-love. It may be how we're treating other people. We may have anger issues, but we haven't dealt with the root
Right.
cause, right?
Right. The pain. And, I'm glad you brought that up because I think that it goes one step further. I think it's also about what did we go through it for? A lot of us don't realize we have to learn to see the positive in something, even if something as horrific as killing someone in a car accident. To survive, I had to learn to find what was positive in that situation. And the O in the cope equals hope stands for optimize. And what you learn to do is you optimize on your experiences by realizing that you are now an authority on what you have survived through. And you can give back with that wisdom and knowledge. One quick example is when I got out, I ended up doing 5 years time over the car accident in prison. Got home, I had written my book. Over the 7 months I sat in a jail cell by hand and wrote my book and never did anything with it because I was too ashamed. Like you said, I wanted to hide that person and tuck her away. I didn't want anybody to know I was ever that ugly Misty. And so I never did anything with it. Fast forward 8 years later, when my grandbaby was born with a severe brain injury, she got stuck in the birth canal and came out blind and deaf, couldn't suck, cry. I mean, just everything. And I blamed myself because she was born on the exact same day as the wreck, September 18th. I actually let the devil convince me it was my fault, that was my punishment. And it was then that I realized, no, God doesn't love like that. You have something to share with people. God saved you, Misty. 10 years of a crack cocaine addiction, inclusive of prostitution, abortions, domestic abuse, rape, all the things you could imagine that comes with it. And so I had to realize, God saved me through all that for a reason. And it wasn't to hide behind who I was. It's time to step up and speak out and show people that you don't have to, I had to step over my own shadow and step into who I was supposed to be. So I rewrote the book, LaWanna. It was written out of anger and blame because that's the dark space I was in. So I rewrote that book out of accountability and forgiveness, and it changed my life. It changed my perspective. It changed my heart. The pain turned into fuel to help others, to help them get out of their painful spots. So it goes one step further than what you were saying is I feel like it's also realizing our destiny, that we've lived through that circumstance and now it's time to step up and speak out about it.
I love when you describe it as stepping over your shadow.
Yeah.
And into who you were meant to be. And sometimes we go through things, the tsunamis of life, whether it's by choice or by circumstance. But invariably, it all works out to our good if we choose to see it that way, right? I mean, right now, you're able to take all of this experience. And I want to talk about your Dare to Share platform, because that is a platform where you're challenging, this is about Choose to Challenge. You're challenging people to speak their truth, to speak those unmentionables, if you will, to the world and get beyond that and help others to heal.
Yeah, that Be That One movement is a movement I started right behind me here, talking about, stepping up and just being that one to shine and do the right thing all the time and be that one to let your guard down and be real, be authentic, And so I think it's all about just learning to, well, let me go back. I don't think it's even learning. I think that it's being taught that you can have courage and confidence and step up and speak out, and that's something that I take pride in, the resiliency and empowerment expert title, because I instill courage and confidence in people by showing them we can all overcome our worst. It doesn't matter what your worst is, and don't compare your worst to someone else's either, because our pain is our pain, and no one else can measure your pain. That's on you. But just to know that whatever it is, that you can overcome it and you don't have to be defined by it. That's why I say step over your own shadow, because it's oftentimes it's our own ego, it's our own pride, it's our own embarrassment or whatever it is that keeps us from moving forward and healing. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I didn't even answer you. So, dare to share. So I'm telling everyone, right? Be that one, step up and speak out. But how are they supposed to do it? So I came up with this TV show, which is the platform where I invite people to do that. Here's your chance to be that one. Here's your chance to step up and speak out. So oftentimes my guests are people that have never spoken their story before anywhere. And it is just the most liberating thing to watch the freedom that they gain just from speaking out loud about and being honest with themselves about their demons. It's a beautiful thing. And I love having the show. I love having the platform available to people. If anybody out there wants to be a guest, it's real simple. Just get in touch with me. I also have an email, mistielayne@mistielayne.com. You can reach me at as well.
Fantastic. So one of the things that I want to ask you, you slightly touched on that when we started this conversation. You mentioned the journey, but then you said it's still a process.
Yeah.
So take us through that, because I know, I've shared with you some of my story, and there are times where there'll be a reminder, right? And you have to find your anchor, your center to bring you back and keep you out of the shadows, because they'll pull you back if you allow them to.
Well, I have a great example. I'm just kind of very transparent. You know me, LaWanna. I'm a country girl. I say what's on my mind. So I'm going to be frank with y'all, and I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
But part of my domestic abuse relationship, it's like being on a roller coaster. He loves you and thinks you're beautiful one day, and the next day you're trash. He doesn't want to touch you physically, sexually, doesn't want anything to do with you. And then the next day he loves you and can't get enough of you. It's really, really hard. And I've battled with my weight up and down, even on crack cocaine. I never was real skinny. I've just always battled with a food addiction. And I was in the store the other day and I saw an advertisement, and it had one of those big flyers up in the storefront of a nice, beautiful, thin woman. And I haven't thought about these things for a long time. You never know what's going to trigger them, right? And it flashed me back to the day. I'll never forget it. We were in the store and we walked by the front of the store, and he looked at that sign and he looked at me. He said, "Well, if you look like that, I'd give you sex all the time." And it just like, how, what, why, and the fact that was even in my mind today, because I feel so empowered today. Like I feel like I'm really through it, but it's those constant reminders of where we've been, who we need to help with what we've been through and learned through, and also to keep putting the work in, not to let those negative thoughts come back, not to let those negative words from other people bring us back down, but to realize who we are, what we've lived and survived through, and to step up to the plate and be that person we were meant to be.
Exactly. And, what you're describing is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. And we tend to focus so much of it on the military. But it's anything that's traumatic in our lives. And there are triggers that, if we're not mindful of it, can quickly pull us back there, right?
Yeah, words hurt. People, like I said, physical scars go away. It's that mental and verbal abuse that's hard. Words hurt us and they haunt us, and especially when we're already damaged and we're already, we don't have the self-confidence to begin with. So, we start believing their words as truth, and that we're not worthy of being loved, or we're not, just because we look a certain way, we're not allowed to have sex or get that, because we don't look a certain way. It's abuse, downright abuse.
Yeah. And I was thinking as you were talking, the childhood rhyme, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I don't know who came up with that.
I don't know either, but they lied. They lied.
Yeah, that is so untrue.
Maybe they were trying to convince themselves.
Well, next thing I want to talk about, because you've got some amazing things happening, and I know the pandemic has slowed some things down for a lot of people as far as their live events and retreats. Can you talk to me a little bit about, and the audience, about your upcoming retreats that you have?
Yes. So I'm really excited. I have this beautiful vision in my head of a complete experience, a 3-day experience of a writing retreat that's, it's geared for women, because women, I relate with them, and I feel like I can really do a lot of work with women and help them because I gain their trust. So I like to work with women. So I have a retreat coming up in January 28th through the 31st in Austin, Texas, and it's called the Write, WRITE, to Ignite Women's Empowerment Retreat. And it's all about discovering the tool that writing can be for you, for whatever you need it to be, whether you need it to be journaling, whether you need it to be just to get rid of some baggage from your past, whether it needs to be the start of your book, whether it needs to be a chapter for an anthology book, whatever it needs to be, it's learning how to use that tool. And it's very intimate. And like I said, I had it planned in October and COVID had spiked and I had to back away from it. So I am opened it up for 15 women. I'm keeping it small and intimate. There will be some ugly crying around the fire pit at night, and just learning how to trust each other, learning how to bond and be transparent. Leave the mask at home. No mask allowed. We are going to be real women speaking about real issues and real pain, and learning how to work through it and forgive ourselves for allowing it.
And is it right as WRI or
WRITE? Write, Ignite, the number 2. Write, the number 2, Ignite. It's right here.
Okay.
Write to Ignite Women's Empowerment Retreat.
And it's January
28th to the 31st in Austin, Texas. And I will have a sign up soon on my website. They're working on the landing page, but you can still reach out to me and get your spot. There are still spots left. So reach out to me. It's going to be a beautiful experience. It's an all-inclusive. The lodging and the food is all included. And I'm working on possibly even providing the transportation from the Austin airport, but we'll have to see about that.
And, it's so important for us to find our tribe, find those communities where we feel safe.
Yes.
And I know you have your own community, and now you've created one that is embracing others, bringing them in, drawing them in. And I know there's certain personalities like me. I'm a type A, and I want the world to think I've got it all together.
Yeah.
And it's hard to open up, especially in front of other people. I know I shared on your platform for the very first time some things that my family didn't even know, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. But in doing so, you're right. It is very liberating.
Yes.
Those shackles that I chose to allow to hold on to me, I'm like, no, I'm letting it go. They no longer control me.
That's awesome.
And I just truly celebrate all that you're doing, because it takes courage and it takes responsibility and accountability, because it's a very delicate balance that you're helping these women to walk, right?
Yes. And, you have to, they have to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And that's really why I have the Dare to Share show, for other people to hear inspiring stories, to inspire them to use their story to inspire others. So, without knowing there's light at the end of the tunnel, by seeing and hearing other people that have reached that light, then they feel hopeless and helpless, like there's nothing, like I'll never get out myself. I'll never dig my way out of this relationship. I tried to leave many times, and it was dangerous. We had our son together. He was an infant. He held us hostage for 3 days, pulled the wires off the car, yanked the phones out of the wall back when we had, landlines, and literally held me hostage for 3 days with our infant son, because I had tried to leave. And what I would say specifically to domestic abuse, if you're in this situation and you want out, that you need to be careful and you need to seek professional help and find out the best way to get out. so that you can be safe. There's safe houses you can go to. Things are much different today. Safe words, messaging. I just left, and my dad rescued me with the sheriff's department in the middle of the night, and I moved 3 states away, and he still found me. He still came after me and found me. So you have to be careful, and you have to do it with professional help. So that's my one thing I really want to stress is get the help. I'm not telling you not to get the help, but get the professional help and learn the best way to do it.
I like that. And I'm putting here, this show it's for infotainment purposes only. We're not, even though Mistie's in the medical profession, this is not a substitute for any medical advice or therapy. There are hotlines for you, and we're putting the National Suicide Prevention Hotline here, as well as a crisis support contact information. So please reach out if you need support, if you feel that your life is in danger, if you feel threatened in any way. You are not alone. You do not have to suffer alone. Right, Mistie?
Yes. And it's a scary place to be. Scary.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Mistie, can you believe we are almost out of time?
Flies right by.
Yes. So I want to turn it over to you. I'm going to take myself down for you to share with our listening audience anything that you would like. I will show the banner again on how they can get into contact with you. So I'll let you take it away.
Sure. I want to just emphasize, you guys, that my heart is truly just to help you get your story out there, because for me, hiding behind all the shame and guilt of all my own mistakes and choices in life, it was killing me. It was literally killing me. I was staying toxic with food addiction, whatever it is, it was hurting me and damaging me. And until I learned that my story was no longer about me, that I had transformed through it and survived it, that I had some value that I could give back to someone else. So, like I said, step over your own shadow. It's time to step into your destiny. I would love to help you do that. I have a really special project going on right now with Linda Sunshine West. She and I partnered up with Women Action Takers Publishing. We have a book, Women Action Takers Who Step Up and Speak Out. It's an anthology or collaboration book. If you don't know what that is, it's a book where you just submit a chapter, and we're going to have 18 other women authors that are submitting their chapters as well. And I would love to help you with that journey and help you start to get that story out, because as you get it out of you, it's freedom, it's liberation. And if you want to write your own story, we can go one step further. I would love to have you come to my retreat and learn how writing can save your life as it did mine. I really just pray that you believe in yourself and that you learn to look in that mirror and forgive yourself for anything you've done, because that's your first step. Your first step is just being true with you and saying, I forgive you. So I urge you to do that today. I urge you to get my free offer so that you can start that process through a writing exercise. Just go to the website, stepupandspeakout.com, and the free gift is there for you. It's a guidebook you can download and work it, and then get in touch with me. I'd love to go over the results with you and help you any way I can. Just remember, you're an authority now. You're an authority. So take that pain you've already lived through and be that one. Step up, speak out. I tell people all the time, I think what sets us apart in life is what we choose to do on the other side of our adversity. So step up and speak out. You guys, if I can write my book from a jail cell, what's holding you back?
Wow, this has been absolutely amazing. I've enjoyed this conversation with you and all that you've shared. And I encourage our listening audience, if you've enjoyed what you've heard from Mistie and you want to learn more about all the work that she's doing, please go to her website, reach out. Also, if you want to be a part of her platform, there to share and to be willing to inspire and ignite and change the lives of others by sharing your trials, your tribulations, but your triumphs. Please reach out to Mistie. And it's been an honor and privilege that our paths have intersected. And I know I've been blessed by knowing her. So thank you so very much, Mistie, for joining me on another edition of Choose to Challenge.
thank you so much for all you do, LaWanna. Thank you.
Thank you. To our listening audience, again, thank you so much for joining us for Choose the Challenge here with Mistie Layne, talking about breaking free of physical and mental shackles. And we will see you next time. And just remember that when your vision and your desire for life intersect with opportunity, success is inevitable. And as Mistie said, be bold and challenge yourself to step over your shadows and into who you were designed to be. Until next time, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.